against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand, crushed and o'erworn, when hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath traveled on to ages steep night, and all those beauties whereof now he's king are vanishing or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time do I now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, that he shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life. His beauty shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he in them still green.
Okay, good. It still sounds recited, Moises. So this time, I want you to keep the breaths as you chose. I just want to hear you whisper it to yourself. Whisper it to yourself. But I really mean whisper. Like this, like this.
Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand, crushed and o'erworn, when hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath traveled on to age's steep night, and all those beauties whereof now its king are vanishing, or vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of the spring. For such a time do I now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife, that he shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life. His beauty shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he and them still green.
Much better, right?
Yes.
Why? Why was it better? Lauren, why was it better?
I felt the connection to, like, when the whisper, you still heard the emphasis, so where you had the emphasis, and there's like that intimate connection to what you were saying. We were able to really hear, like, the inflections of what, but I felt a more emotion in it. I understood it.
Anybody else?
The whispering got you out of your head.
Yeah. Yes. But it also made you hear. Now you were really listening. I mean, that's the thing that happens when you're connected to the text. Your mind, okay.
That I want to be young like Alex.
No, when you were doing it before in the recited kind of way, I guarantee you your mind was going, oh no, don't do it like that. Let me work for you. God damn it, put me to work. Let me work for you. I'm intelligent. I'm a mind. And you were completely disregarding the mind. This time, the mind was working for you. It was helping you listen, and you were able to listen to yourself much better. And so the progression of the thoughts were much more organic. You were creating them in a much more improvisational way. So that's a good lesson for all of us. If you can say it to yourself, whenever you're having a problem with your sonnet, throw it all away the way you were working before, just say it to yourself like this. It'll start connecting to your soul, your mind and your soul, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yes, because you don't have the volume and the other things to rely on. Now you're just left with what little organic you have.
How do I really understand this?
Yeah.
And often when there are things that we don't quite understand, they often become quite clear when you just say it to yourself. All of a sudden, there's a revelation.
Exactly.
Because you're listening to it for the first time. You might think you have been listening to it, but you haven't really. Try it one more time, just like that.
Whispering.
Whispering, yes. And I think you can still have more movement. Don't stay in the same place, right? Once you've made your resolution, you can't stay in the same place that you have to move somewhere else.
Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand, crushed and o'erworn, when hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath traveled on.
No, now you're reciting it. Because there's a sameness there's a pattern that you've created that is not, doesn't have, it's not connected. Try it again. Don't overthink it. Simplify it. Against my love. And often we just don't think fast enough. I mean, you know what this poem says. Get to the points. Don't linger on beautiful words, and it's the thought that is beautiful. The words are just helping create the thought. Okay?
So whisper.
Yeah, please.
Against my love shall be as I am now, with time's injurious hand, crushed and o'erworn.
Crushed and o'erworn.
Crushed and o'erworn. When hours have drained his blood and filled his brow with lines and wrinkles, when his youthful morn hath traveled on to age's steep night, and all those beauties whereof now he's king are vanishing, vanished out of sight, stealing away the treasure of his spring. For such a time,
Change.
for such a time do I now fortify against confounding age's cruel knife. They shall never cut from memory my sweet love's beauty, though my lover's life. His beauty shall in these black lines be seen, and they shall live, and he in them still green.
Much better. Good. How did that feel for you?
Felt good. I get the idea of trying to get out of my head and just getting from point to point instead of
Simplify.
trying to balance with the words, but just the thought instead of the word focus, like you were saying.
And there were natural inflections that were happening that you were not doing before when you were doing it full voice. Hardly any inflections. This time, there were many, many more. There's more that you can add. But review the tape and you'll see, okay?
Thank you.
Good job, Moises.